Ah, America, the land of the free and the home of the brave. Land where you can get fat off fast food, become a billionaire and buy Twitter, even go to a NASCAR event wearing full American flag gear. But as cool as America is, did you know that the real reason we're all eagles and freedom instead of crumpets and tea was actually due to a dentist relationship with George Washington? No, seriously, that George Washington. See, George Washington suffered from poor dental health all through his adulthood. Beginning in his 20s, Washington experienced toothaches, decay, and tooth loss. Problems were likely due to a bunch of factors during Washington's era, like a poor diet, disease, and even genetics. As a result, Washington spent his life in frequent pain. He employed a variety of tooth cleaners, dental medicines, and even had to wear dentures. In normal times, that stuff would get fixed easily, but, well, these were not those times. High-tech scanners, 3D printers, and drills with lasers? No, they didn't have those. See, back then, these so-called dentists would yank your teeth right out of your face if you even said you had a toothache and all that tooth was gone. In fact, it wasn't even trained professionals who did the dentistry. It was actually local blacksmiths and barbers who doubled up as backstreet dentists yanking teeth out left and right. That's right, you could go to your barber, get a fresh fade, and then immediately get a tooth ripped right out of your face. In fact, barber poles were actually red and white to let you know that they performed acts such as bloodletting, aka giving blood for funsies just to see if it would heal you. If you were lucky enough to be one of their patients, you would be chained or held down with industrial tools to rip those teeth right out of your face. To be honest, looks a little something more like a horror movie than those odd-smelling, friendly dental offices that we have today. Seriously though, what even is that smell? I'm literally a dentist and I still don't know what it is. Only decades later in 1921, dentists had to be trained and certified under the newly formed Dental Act. Getting rid of backstreet dentists and bringing the profession of dentistry into the mainstay. Actually came from the UK, which is funny because they normally have worse teeth on average than Americans do. This is to say Washington wasn't having a good time, and by the end of his 20s, he had lost every single tooth but one. Needless to say, he had to get dentures. Now, all of us were taught that his dentures were made of wood, but that's not actually true. In fact, a dentist named Dr. John Baker actually made the first set of dentures for George Washington. Dentures were fabricated with ivory that was wired to Washington's actual remaining real teeth that he had saved. That's right, Washington actually kept all of his teeth that fell out and then wired them into his mouth. It's technically kind of like if you lost a toe and decided to duct tape it on later. It's kind of the same thing. Too hard though, because it was actually pretty normal to save your teeth like this back in the day. He actually even bought teeth from some African-American slaves as well. It wasn't known if he used any of these African-American slave teeth in his dentures in the past, but it actually was pretty common to buy. Dentures weren't the greatest back then as well, so they definitely caused him a bunch of pain, and they actually produced facial disfigurement described by George Washington as a marked change in his appearance, especially in the projection of his lower lip. Pretty clear in his later paintings and photos of him that his face changed a lot. I mean, look at the difference. Okay, so Washington had some dentures, big deal. How did that lead to America winning its freedom and independence from Great Britain? 2 words, Doja Cat. I'm just playing, just making sure you're still paying attention. Being said, we need to bring the cow song back. That song slapped. What I meant to say was Revolutionary War. See, when the Pilgrims came over, they actually weren't Americans yet. They were actually still ruled by the British Empire, which was cool with everybody until they started taxing everything. By everything, I pretty much just mean stamps and tea. Actually kind of funny that they'd start a war after just getting taxed on tea and stamps when we literally get taxed on everything today, the money we make, the interest on loans, and then we have to pay taxes again on the money that we made when we die, and we're just like, hey, we're chilling, not a big deal. In response to this taxation, they actually rebelled with the famous Boston Tea Party. Those that don't know, they actually hijacked the ships and threw a bunch of tea in the water, making it useless and they couldn't sell it. And yes, Indians actually did live with the colonists at this time. This then led to the British firing and killing colonials in the Boston Massacre, and needless to say, a war kind of broke out at that point. Trying to avoid the war, the British actually tried to go to Concord and steal a bunch of weapons from the colonists so they couldn't even fight. Luckily for them, a guy named Paul Revere saw them coming and warned everybody saying, the British are coming. This led to some of the first battles, including the shot heard around the world, signifying the start of the Revolutionary War. The colonists quickly agreed that George Washington would be their first commander-in-chief and lead them to victory through the Revolutionary War. In fact, Washington was actually the only president in existence that was a unanimous vote. Everybody wanted him to be president. Even though he had no teeth, Washington was actually described as having been a very large, powerful man with considerable strength. He was over 6'2" and weighed over 200 pounds. It was like a revolutionary Mack truck. Even though my man was ready to tussle at any British problem, he actually did not like to talk. He actually liked to write to express his feelings. The man had a soft side. Historians actually believe this is because of his bad tooth complications and the fact that he wore dentures. It was really hard to talk with dentures. In fact, in his presidential inauguration, he spoke so soft that people couldn't really even hear him. People thought it was because he was talking so slow and soft so his dentures didn't fall out of his mouth. I mean, he did only have 1 tooth left. After the war, Washington often suffered headaches from constant toothaches and spent a considerable amount of money on dental products. I mean, this man was having issues. He was buying dental mirrors, scrapers, even fake teeth off people to replace the ones he was losing. Near the end of the war, Washington was getting desperate. He needed some tools for his dentures badly, so he went and wrote a letter to his dentist, John Baker. Said, yo homie, I need some dental tools stat, but here's the deal. I know you think we're going to be in Philadelphia, but we're actually going to be going to New York. We're not going to be going to Philadelphia anytime soon, so I need you to send these tools up to New York. We know Philadelphia because that's where the Liberty Bell is. Also, it's where the National Treasure was shot, which was an amazing movie, but they knew it as the place where Yorktown was. Yorktown was a major area that allowed for the British to bring new ships and troops in to continue to fight the war. So if Washington could take over Yorktown, they effectively win the war. Lucky for Washington, the British actually found his correspondence to his dentist, and they took it. Read the letter and said, hey guys, they're not coming to Philadelphia, they're staying in New York. Washington just said this, we're all good, let's chill for a little bit. Little did they know, my man, the Big Easy, actually found some dental tools and decided, hey, you know what, I'm good for the time being, let's go ahead and march up to Philadelphia anyways. Americans caught the British way off guard and ultimately destroyed them, winning the Battle of Yorktown and winning the war. You could say in the end it was George Washington's relationship with his dentist that won us that war and gave us our freedom. Without these guys, America just wouldn't be what it is today. So next time your dentist gives you laughing gas or beats up your gum tissue with a chainsaw, say thanks. Because without them, we wouldn't have free speech, Independence Day with Will Smith before Jada, and also those little smokies that are so good at the 4th of July cookouts. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe so the algorithm can show it to more people. So if you want the best toothbrushes in the world, including all the new products coming out, go check out something nice, link in the description. Wait, did I mention that we get back with every purchase? Anyways, till next time, I'm the Bentist. Make sure to spread some love and peace and brush your teeth. I'm out. I'll see you next time.